use formulas. Mostly the formulas we use, which are always common, there is sum, there is average, there is counting, there is maximum, there is minimum. Then when we go to text formulas, I will want to take you through the text formula. And the date formulas, those ones we shall be tapping one by one. But majorly I want to focus on the formulas that are way common for us. Now I have my date. So first of all, starting with the first formula, when you're creating your own data, there is a formula called random. This is data. So here I'm going to put all the formulas we shall talk about. Then maybe I'll have time, I put for you guys the explanation. Then we have a formula called random between. You can always use that formula to create your own data in case you need some data to work with. So random between, it is what I'm going to use here. How do we use this? Is in case I want to create numbers here from random numbers between 1 and 100. So you can just say equals to random between. Then here they're asking me what is the bottom. The bottom I want it to start from 1. What should be the top? The top I want to be 100. So when you close that, they will always create for you random numbers. So you can copy to many cells. So every time you double click in one of the cells, these numbers will always change. So you can always create your own numbers in case you're taking or you're showing someone something. I can create my own numbers. Like I can create, if I say, let this start from 1,000 and the last should be 1 million. You see, I can run that to the end and run this to the end. I've already created data which I can use. You get? Which means if I wanted to have like this data for cells, so that's why I wanted to show you here that we can create our own data. So sometimes we shouldn't be limited to data that we don't have. So you can always create your own data and do practice. So that is the first formula we have gone through. If you have a question on that, you can ask, but it is always simple that way. Like in case Nathan, I want to show how we do summing and average, but I don't have data. I can't use the company's data to teach my colleagues what to do or how to learn Excel or how to learn some formulas. Always create your own data. So even here, I'm going to delete these cells. You see that every time we change something, the whole of this data changes. So sometimes when you're done and you want that data not to change again, you copy it and paste it as formulas, which we are going to do here. So we want to create our own dates and we also want to create our own cells. And how we're going to do that, we're going to use the random between function. Now, let me begin with the cells. I want cells data, so I will say random between. Random between, I want to start with the list, should be 10,000. That is the bottom, comma. And the highest should be, let's say, 700,000. Like this. So I want to create my own data for cells. The least cells to be 10K and the highest to be 700,000. So the moment I enter this, I can drag this up to the bottom. So let me create 100 lines of cells. So you'll understand that every time I double click in one and enter, data changes. So if you can delete this, I no longer need it. If we don't want this data to change, I will select the whole of this data. I showed you last time the shortcut of selecting up to the bottom of your sheet. It is Control Shift down arrow. It takes you up to the bottom. It selects all the data up to the bottom. Then here, I can go ahead and copy. This is the copy. It is under home, then copy. Then after copying, don't click anywhere because we want to remove this formula. We want to paste these as values as how they are. So under the paste function, click on the arrow, look for paste values. Paste values always has numbers 1, 2, 3. When you pass there your cursor, you'll see the word, the value, which is a V. So which means I'll come to this and click on that. So I copied the same values and pasted them in the same location, but as values. So if you check now, the formula is gone, which means if I double click, the formula is no longer there. So that was my purpose. I wanted to have my data not to keep changing. But remember, we created our own data using the random between function. I'll put for you the uses of how we use them. Then still we want to create our own dates, but we want to create dates between 1st of January to date. So first of all, apologies for that. We want to create our own dates, but let's start with the date of January. We want to test 2 dates. Now, if I want to create my own dates random, I need to know the serial number of a date. So in dates, we have serial numbers. If I can take this back to Jeno. So in dates, we have serial numbers. Every date you find is always having a serial number in the background. Let me start with the date of 1st Jan 2024. This is my first date. This is going to be my bottom. If I want to use the random between. So what is going to be my top? My top, I can use, I can type it, or I can use another function which is called equals today function. Now, when you use the today function, if I want to bring the date for today, I use the equals today function, open bracket and close them without putting anything. The moment you enter, it will give you the date today. And this date today, I want it to resemble as like this one. I will click on this format painter. This thing which looks like a brush. When you click on any number and click on it, it means anywhere you click, that number will be resembling the other one like this. So I wanted it to be in this format. Let me repeat it again. Undo. If you have formatted down your format, let's say you gave this a yellow color, you bolded it, you did a lot of formatting on that, you changed its format the way how it is. You see the way how this one is 02 and /11/2024. Let me increase my screen just to make sure that it is visible. Now, if I want to make this one resemble this, what do? We click on that. You have formatted. You have taken your time to format this. Click on it. Come and use this brush, which we call the painter, format painter function. Then you click wherever number you want to be changed. They will change it to the format this is. So I have shown you how we get the date today. If I say equals today like this and enter, they will always give me the date for today. But if you want the date for today and the time like as now, we say equals to now, like that, and enter. They will give me the date today and they give me the time. which is 1352 on my calendar here. It will always take the time for the calendar. So when I come to formulas, here I will put, okay, when I come to formulas, okay. When I come to formulas here, we have done another formula, which is equals to today function like this. Then we have done another formula that is, this is equal to now function. So the now function, we have seen it gives us the time now. The date function gives us the date for today. That is the today function. So why was I doing this? Let's go back to, remember we need to create dates from, random dates from 1st of January to today, such that we have these cells tagged to those dates. So when we come, let me take it this back, remove the colors, you just go to no fill. Then if you want to remove the bold, you click again bold here like this or remove. Now, when I'm using the random function, I'm not going to put the whole of this, but I may want to put, I need a serial. The serial for 1st of Jan 2024, what is that serial? So if I say, I change this to serial, I will just do here on format and take it back to number. You see, when you take it back to number, the serial for 1st of Jan 2024 is 45,292 days. Why does Excel count like this? All of us here, we should know that Excel counts from 1st of January 1900. Like 1st of January 1900. So 1st of January 1900, if I put this to number, it is always number 1. So Excel counts from 1st of January 1900. So that's when Excel starts counting, and that was a Sunday, if I expand it in this format. So if I try to put maybe 30th of December 1899, that year in Excel, it's not there. Why? Because you see that it remains aligned on the right. If I increase like this, you'll see all my dates. When we come to that cell, it is aligned on the right, but you see this date remains on the left because it is not in date format. Even if I try to change it here in date format, it doesn't change. Why? Because this date in Excel is not there. But the moment I change this to 1900, it will automatically align to 30th of December 1900. And if we want to look at the number, this is 365 days. So every time you look at a serial, it means that those are the number of days we have spent from 1900, 1st of January to date. So let's change also this to serials, that is to putting it to numbers, that is 45,598 days as of today. Since 1900 Jan of 1st of Jan. Now, why am I bringing these numbers? I want to use these numbers to create my random dates, right? Now, here I'm going to create my random dates. I will say equals to random between. Remember now we are well aware of how we deal with this. Now, the bottom we are going to use 45,292. That is 1st of Jan 2024. Then the top, we are going to take a date for today. We are trying to create dates for ourselves since Jan to date. Random, since even the sales numbers, we created them random. So the top will be 45598. So the moment I close this and enter, it will give me a serial. But this serial is a serial that relates to a date. So if I change this to date, like this, you can always go with this short date or long date. I will show you how we change the other format. So if we click on that, you see here it shows us 19th of May 2024. So I can drag this up to the bottom by double clicking. I undo this to show you what I've done. So when I want to copy this to the bottom, better we didn't save our sheet. So let's save. I see the cursor has started misbehaving. So remember, we are saving in our file. I showed you how we do the saving, so that shouldn't be a worry. So today this is session 4. So today this is session 4. And if I want to rename right, I can put here the date. The date today is 2024. I can always start with a year, put the month, 11, then put the date today, which is 02, and put an underscore. This is the correct name given. Even if I share it with you, or after 2 years, you can know that this file was saved on 2024 11/02, and it was session 4. So I can save it in our folder, then do save. So since I've already saved, now I'm not worried of anything that this cursor is misbehaving. Let me close and reopen it. You see, because I had saved, now it is easier for me to close and reopen it. So I was saying, if I want to drag this formula up to the end where these cells are ending, you can go always to that cell, look for right in the corner at the bottom, and when the cursor changes black, double click, it will copy that formula up to the bottom. And it will not pass where the cells are, because these two columns are beside each other. That's why it was easy for it to copy up to where these cells are ending. Now, if we had, let me undo, if we had any empty column, any empty cell here, and I come here and I double click like this, it will come and end where the empty cell is, and it will not continue. So that tells us that, if I undo both, that tells us that if I insert a column here and I try to double click, it will not copy down because it is seeing this column empty and it doesn't have a reference where it should copy up to which last cell it should end. So that's why when you're working, make sure that you always ignore these empty columns, because your data is separated into two. So now I'm going to drag, actually, I don't know whether you have realized how this data keeps changing. Every time I double click somewhere, it changes. So because it is still a random generator. So when I drag this up to the bottom, you'll see it will put for me all the dates up to the bottom. Now, let's change this to the format we want it. I think that's clear now. If you have any question, please you ask on the random. Let's change this format. We want to change this format such that we have 2 digits of the day. We need the month, but we need the short name of the month, like Jan, Feb, July, June, like that. Then the 2024 is already there. How do we change this? You can select the whole cells the way I've done, like this. After you have selected all of them, go to this number formatting. There is always an arrow here, number format. Click on it. The moment you click on that, it will open a dialog box. Then look for that date we are looking for, that format. You see, this is what I want. 14 March 2012. They are giving you just a sample. So I will always want to use this such that I can differentiate. If I found 01/01, I will start, okay, 01/02, I will start wondering, is this 1st of Jan? Sorry, is it 2nd of Jan, or it is 1st of Feb? So sometimes you get confused if you don't format it to this format. So I like to use this format. So you can go ahead and click OK. It will change the format. You see 1st of Jan, 2nd, 27th of October, 19th of June. It's easy for me to take. Then there is the option I always want to use is this. Not using the ones that Excel gives me, I can go to the custom ones. Then delete whatever is here in type. I want to create my own, but I want two digits on date, dash. I want 3 characters on month. I can put M, 3 M's. Then I want 4 characters on year. That is year, 4 times. This will always give you a date in that format you want. But remember, remember, the D stands for dates, the M stands for months, and the Y stands for year. You can try it. Just create random dates. Try even to put only year. Even if you see, if I remove the year like this and I do DD and I do MM, the moment I say OK, it will only give me the day and the month. So if I want to go back, I can change this by putting my year. So if I put 4 Ys, it gives me the 4 characters on a year. So here when we come on formulas, on changing the format of a date, let me see date format. Let's go through this together. So date format, when you put 2 Ds, you get 2 characters like this. For example, you get 2 characters. Let me just a moment. So you get 2 characters like that. When you put 3 Ds, you get the day, like Thursday, like this. When you put 4 Ds like that, you get a full day called like this Thursday. Just note that I'll send for you this document. So, and when you have, undo. Wanted to create one up. Now, when you have 1D, like this, it gives you a 4. Okay, here it is a 04 because we are looking at Thursday. Now, note this. Take it serious because we shall always be using it when we are dealing with dates. Now, when we come to month, when you use 1M, let's say we are looking at Feb, you'll only have a 2. When you use the 2 M's, you'll have, let me copy this and change it to 02, like this. When you use 3 M's, you get Feb, like this. Remember, you're looking at 2, then a 2 stands for Feb. When you use 4 M's, even if you use 100 M's, the maximum is 4 M's, you'll get the full word, February, like this. Now, for year, when you use 1Y, you get, let's say we are looking at 2024, it will give you, it will not give you. Then when you here, you'll not get any A. When you use 2 Ys, it will give you 24, which is 2024. When you use 3 Ys, for it, it will automatically give you 2024. And even when you use the 4 Ys, you get 2024, like this. So note this, guys, it is very, very important when you're dealing with dates. And the moment you have this, you are master at tweaking your dates the way how you want. So here I can tweak these dates the way how I want because I know how to deal with date formats. Okay, I think this is fine. Now, remember our date here is still changing. So we want to copy and change this to values. I've already shown you this. So the moment we change it to values, the random has already gone off. Now, that formula is done. It's good that we have to create our own data. Now we are very sure of how we can create our own data. Now, there is a challenge you're seeing. Every time I scroll, my headings are going, they are disappearing, but I want them to stay. If you want this to stay, we did this last time, that is freezing. You select that column, or even if you don't select it, but you click in that data, you go under under view, you look for freeze, which is here, freeze pens. So you click on freeze the top row. So the moment I say freeze the top row, my top row will be frozen like this. It will no longer move, which is a good idea because I want to keep looking at it as I'm scrolling downwards, right? Now, we are going now to look at the text function. There is a function which we call text function. So it always starts with equals to text. Then here in bracket, you select something. You select the text. Let me say here you select cell. Then comma, you put formats in quotes. Let's say like you saw the format of a day, I'll put like 2, 3, 4 Ds. And the moment you do that, it will always change for you that cell into a date. Now, what I want here, I want us to get the day, we get the month, we get the year, right? So let's get the year. So how do we get this? I've already shown you. If I want to copy the format this one is having to these others, I have shown you paste painter like this. So those are the things I will always look into whether you know how to deal with this in your assignments. Now, in case you have a question, please raise your hand. Feel free. But the silence, I will know that you guys are following each and everything. But since the call is recorded, still I'll share with you the recording. So now we want to change this date into day. The first thing I will do equals to text. I want to use the text function. Open brackets. They are telling me to click on the value. The value, they want me to click on the value of the date, which is this I'm starting with, comma. What is the format text you want? You open quotes. Now, since I want the day, if I put 1D like this and close the quotes and close the bracket and enter, they are going to give me a 12. A 12 being the date number. Now, if I scroll this, you'll note something that here it is 05, but here they have given me a 5, right? I hope you're seeing this. Let me increase. So if I want to change this to 2 digits, you'll put here 2 Ds. So it means that this time, if I scroll down, you see we have 0506, 06. It is no longer giving me 1 digit. But remember, I wanted a full day. So I wanted a full day, which means I'm going to put here 4 Ds. I've already told you that the moment I enter, it tells me that 12th of July was a Friday. Then you scroll down, it gives you the dates. Friday, 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 Tuesday, Friday, you get. Now, which means at the moment, you can easily get what was the day of your birthday, right? Just put your date somewhere, convert it. In 2 days, you'll get to know which day it was. For me, I know I was born on Thursday because I computed that using the same. I didn't have to go to a calendar to scroll and look at the calendar which day it was, but I was born on Thursday. Why? Because I can put here my date of birth, then convert it to a day, and immediately they will tell me it is a Thursday. So if I want to copy this at the bottom, I double click, it will run up to the bottom. And in case here we still had the random, it would be, these dates would be changing randomly. Now, someone unmute and tell me which formula I should put here to get the month. I want a full month name. Unmute. Who is this? Nathan, go ahead.
Equals.
Equals. Equals. No, we are using the text. Remember, we are using this formula, but this time, I want to change the format here. We are going to use the format for month. Already shown here for months. So we need to have the full month like this. For me,
text. Open the bracket.
Yeah.
Column B2. A1, A2.
Yes, A2. Then comma.
4M.
4M is like this,
Yes.
And I close bracket.
You lock the 4M.
Okay. So that's what I wanted to tell me. So the moment I enter it, it's going to give me an error because Excel doesn't know that. So I have to put this in Excel. And you have to put them in double quotes, not single quotes. So the moment I enter, you see it shows me this is right. So if I drag this up to the bottom by bringing my cursor here in the corner, like this, I should be getting the month names, right?
Yes.
Nathan, you're giving me the, sorry, Uncle. Sonko?
Yes.
Yeah, you are giving me there.
Then we say equals text.
Mm-hmm.
Then we open the brackets.
Mm-hmm.
Then A2, we click to A2, then comma, then 4Ys, but in quotes.
Yes, 4 Ys in quotes. So don't mind putting the Ys in capital letter or small letter. For it, Excel will know exactly what you want. So this is 2024. It means that if I changed one of the year here to 2020, automatically it will be changing to 2020. So it is dynamic. Your formula is dynamic. That's why I was telling you last time, when you use formulas in your data, any change you do, everything changes dynamically. You don't have to go back and change everything manually, one by one. So we all assume that we have understood how we use the text function in manipulating the date. Text function can be used in many ways. We shall look at that, but for now, we have used it to manipulate the dates. Now, there are also functions made for purposely for only. Here, we have used the text functions. I will put this in blue. But if I want to get the same dates and everything, but using their formulas. So first there is a formula for day, which is equal to day, like this. So the moment you open that and click on the serial and enter, it will give you the day, right? That formula is there. But now the challenge we have, for it, it gives us the day as the number of that day. there is no way how we can change this into this. The only way how you can change it to Friday to Sunday is only using the text function. Are we together? We are together?
Yes, we are together.
Yeah, so here you're using the day function. That's why I'm calling it df. Then here I'm using the month function. So when I use the month function, I'll say equals to month. Yes. When I click on the cell for the date and enter, it will give me the month, which is a 7. And there is no way I can change this back to the month we need. Either I go to the formats or I use the text functions. Now, when you go to the formats, let's say select the whole of this and go to the formats here, like this, and I go to custom. Then here I put there 4Ds, like that, and enter. It will give me the numbers of the dates, in other words. But do you realize that this it is wrong? It is not wrong, but this one, the text function starts with the Monday as number 1. Then this one starts with the Sunday as number 1. That's why you see here it is a Friday, here it was a Thursday. Here it is a Sunday, here it was a Saturday. You get? So you always have to correct that, and you always have to be keen. So at the end of the day, we find out that the text function is more accurate because it gives you what you want, not what Excel has already built to give you. Then even here we have the year function. The year function always also gives you the year. So if I click on that, it will give me the year. So sometimes when you don't want to struggle with the text function, for the year function, it will always give you the 4 digits of the year. If you want the month as a number 1 to 12, it will always give it to you. But if you want it in form of this, you have to use the text function. Then for the day, it will always give you, this will always give you the day 1 to 31 days of the month. But if you want to get the date, like Monday to Sunday, always use the text function. So I hope that all the two will be useful, but it will depend where you always want to use them. I think that is okay. Is that Kawa? So it means here, so here I'm using, I want to put for you the formulas here, such that when I share with you this, it's easy for you to relate. As you ask questions, so those are the formulas we have done so far. Now, the next thing, I want us to get the sum. How do we get the sum? How do we get the average? How do we get the maximum sale? How do we get the average? All that. So that's what I want us to go through. Now here I will call it aggregation. Now in aggregation, I want us to get the sum. How we get the sum? How we get the average? How we get the maximum sales? How we get the minimum sales? This. So the moment we are conversant to this, what else can we get? We need to count the dates that were the sales, how many dates they, okay, I can call it counts. Then what else can we? I think that's it for now. So when we come to our data, most cases, if you click the whole column for sum, since they are numbers because they are aligned on the right, here at the bottom, it will always give you a summary. So you can see all these summaries. You have the sum here, you have the counts here, you have the count here, they are counting numeral, here they are counting everything because I've selected even the word cells. Here there is average. And when you right click, there are other things you can check like maximum, like minimum, which are always not by default. So you see they're giving them to you here, where the maximum is this, the minimum is this. So you can always get this just directly from a snap by selecting this, and you get them here. And the moment you click on them and you go somewhere in a cell and do a paste or Control V, it will always paste what you clicked on directly. So you don't have to write it down, then you type it somewhere. You always click on it, then you click in the cell and paste. You'll always have it immediately. But now, if you want to use formulas, how do we do it? Now, there are two options that you can always be at the bottom of the table and you say equals to sum, like this. Then you select the whole sheet up to the top, like that, and enter. It will give you the sum. So you can also say equals to average, like this. You select this up to the top, remove the word, the cell word, and it will give you the average. But my dear friend, you can't always do this on data that has like 1,000 rows. You can't say that you'll always have the sum at the bottom of everything. If you have small data, let's say like this one here, if you have small data like this is okay. You can always come here and put, you can say this is my average, and you come here and say I'm getting equals to average. This is the formula for average, equals to average, this. Then you select the numbers. If you want, you can select one number one by one as you put a comma. If in case, that is in case you're going to skip some, like if I want to get an average between this one and this one, I can only do an average of two numbers. But if you're going to do an average of all, just drag and select all of them like this, enter, it will give you the average. So there it is easy, you can get the average. Then you can also come here and say, I want the sum. The sum is equal to sum. Then you select your data, close, and enter. You'll have got the sum. You get? So you can do that for the data that is smaller. You can even get your maximum. And you say equals to what is the maximum value of cells here. And when you enter, they will give you the maximum value of cells is this. So if you can note it, undo. So if I can put it in an orange like this. So that is the maximum. So if we need a minimum, still it will give you the minimum for the data you have. Minimum, it is always equals to min, then you select your data, right? Even if you have 1,000 rows, you can do it, but you can't always do it at the bottom of your data. It means that like last time we did, you'll always get a sheet aside that you do all your workings from there. Leave the data alone, such that in case next time you're adding more data to the bottom, it shouldn't disorganize the formulas you put at the bottom. So if I get min here, it will show that this is my min, and actually that is the min. I can highlight it red. Actually, this is maximum. It was required to be highlighted with green. I'm doing this on a purpose. Good is always with a green, and lower is always with a red. You also know traffic lights, green is go, red is stop. So you can relate. So here it is okay, you can always do that because your data is small. But the moment your data is large like this, many columns. Next time I may want to add more columns here. Let's say if I copy this and I want to add them at the bottom like this. Does it mean that I'll first delete all the calculations I have done, then someone adds the data for that day? No, it will not. It will not make sense. So that's why we always go to another sheet. That's where you create your summaries from. I can bold this, put them in borders. Then you can just make your work neat. You can have this one done in the middle by coming here on alignment. You put it in the middle. You can increase the font such that if I'm going to send this report to any person, it is very neat and easy to read. Now here we begin with sum. So someone to tell me what I should do.
Equals sum.
Mm-hmm.
And select the data
In the data sheet. So I have to open the brackets first, right?
Yes. The brackets.
Mm-hmm.
Select the data we want in the data sheet.
So I will come here, scroll at the top, start with my first cell. Now I will not drag up to the bottom. So the easiest thing, you press your Control Shift on your keyboard, down arrow, it will select up to the bottom. But if you haven't learned that trick, you can always use your cursor to scroll like this, up to the bottom, like this.
Yes.
Or, since we know that our last data is in row 103, the moment you select on the data sheet, I will say my data starts from B2. I showed you how we name those cells to B103. So you don't need to select. Excel will have selected for you automatically. So you see we have 35 million of cells. Someone tell me the average. The average? Average? Sonko? Sonko, if you are speaking, you are mute, we can't hear you.
I think we sum up
No, we are getting average.
the average, yeah. Like,
So Nathan, you can take it.
Yes. Equals average.
Yeah, so we use the average function, Sonko. So equals average, you open brackets.
Then select the data.
Yeah, you select the data. So you start with the first one.
It to be 103.
So I can do B2, 2. Now I don't need to scroll since I know my data I'm adding up to B103. But you have to be more sensitive on this because you have to be correct. In
Yes.
case I put 101, it means I'll have skipped 2 of them. So the moment I enter, it will give me my average. Now, how do I get maximum? Now, since you already have this sum and average, you see that we are only changing the function. And when you come to average, you're changing the function. So the moment you know that this is my range, I can even always copy this range like this. You copy it from the formula bar and enter, leave that. Then when I come here, I will start equals to maximum, right? Open bracket. Then I can paste remember not to put two brackets. So I can paste my reference by not going back the other side because that's the reference I know. that is the other side. So this is the maximum. So the mean, I can copy that formula. That is being creative and productive. You don't have to keep repeating something, yet you know that you already have a reference to it. So click there. I can paste the whole formula and just change this to minimum, right? Enter, it will give you minimum. Are we together? Then
Yes.
for count, still I can paste what I copied for maximum. Then here instead, I put count. The moment count comes, I double click on it and enter. It will have counted for me 102 numbers. So guys, is there any other question? Do you have any question on this?
No, I don't have.
So when you go to our formulas, we have added these formulas. I will paste them here. So if I want to paste them, you see I've copied them this side, they are horizontal, but if I want to paste them the other side as vertical, always come and click here, come on paste. You see there is this, which always has the word transpose. So the moment I paste transpose like this, they will be pasted with the transpose, but with all their formats. But I don't need those formats. I need them on the left. I don't need the bold like this. Then even I don't need the borders. I say no borders. You get? So we have done 12 functions. There are many formulas you can find on Earth in Excel, but you have to know how to use those functions. So as you start to deal with the functions, you have to know which function does what. So if I can ask a question, of these functions we have done today, is there any function that is giving you headache? Then we try to maybe have a review on it. The text function. You said the text function, right?
Yes, mine
Yes, that one.
Now the text function, we used it to split the date into the different formats we needed it to pick. Now, I'm going to do a quick random. We are going to do it like in 10 minutes. Very quick, because we have already done a simulation on this. So we are creating here another data. Another data. First of all, let's create the sales date. Then here we shall create the sales. Then we are going to have a day. Then we shall have month. Now this day, we shall have a day, we call it okay, here we shall have a day and a day of the week. We always call it weekday, like this. Or let's leave it as day of the week, such that it clearly resonates in your head. Then this year we shall have a month. Now I'll call this month number. Then here we shall have the month name. So that's how we call them. Which means this is a number, this is a number, this is the day of the week. This is a number, this is the month of the week. Then here we shall have the year. Now, I want us to start, actually I want us to have, we are going to have 1,000 rows. But in those 1,000 rows, we need to have from 2020, 1st January 2020. You know why I'm doing this? Because I want to know what was the serial number for 2020. By coming here, changing this to number, it will give me the serial number for 2020. Then I will have also end of this month, end of this year, that is 31st of December 2024. So the moment I put this also in serials, that is numbers, now these are the serials we are going to use to generate our dates, right? Yes, I continue.
Yes.
Yes.
I can increase the font on this header because I want it to be so much visible. Okay, here we go. Now, we are going to use the random function equals to random between. We have used that. Our bottom is going to be, read for me.
438.
Yes.
31.
31. Then our top.
456. 57.
Yep. Why we are doing this, we are generating our own date, but we want to generate the date between these two dates. And these two dates, if I can copy them and put them even at the top here, then change the top to dates, short date. Short date I have here like this. This one now shows us exactly what we are doing. Now, which means if I drag this up to 1,000, so I can, you can double click because we don't have any reference we are going to use here. So I'm going to go to the 1,000th row. Now, how do I go to the 1,000th cell? How do I go to the 1,000th cell?
You control shift arrow down.
Now, when I do control shift arrow down, it selects up to the millionth cell. I don't want to reach all this end because it goes up to the bottom. But if I want to go to the 1,000th arrow, cell, I come here and type A 1,000. Now, since I am not counting the data, I'll say 1,001. The moment this is 10,001, it's fine. Yeah, it's 1,001. We can go with this. So now, since I'm here, I can now do control shift with the up arrow, such that I go up upwards up to the first one, right? Are we together?
Yes.
Or if you don't want to do that, you can drag like this, not until you reach 1,000, which is tedious. But as you work, always make sure that to create some productivity as you're doing some stuff. So you can copy up to there. These are our dates. Then I'll change these dates to the format we need. So we come here, we change to the format we need. Since we have already used that format, you'll always find it at the bottom. Any format you customize and use and create here, you'll always find it at the bottom in your sheet. So this is it. So I'll double click on that. You get. Now you see this time we have 2022, we have the 2020s because our year is stretched for 4 years, 5 years now. Now, if I want to remove that formula, because every time I click somewhere, it changes. You see, every time I double click in a cell, it changes. So if I want to remove it, what do I do? You're all quiet?
We go to numbers and we format this column for numbers.
No. What I'm saying, I want to remove this formula such that I remain with only dates such that they don't keep changing. You Control Shift and select all of them, copy. Then you come here and paste them as values. So the moment I paste as values, the formula is no longer there, which means even if I double click, nothing is changing. Let's do another random for sales. Equals to random between. We want our sales between 10,000 and 1 million, right? Is it okay?
Yes.
So this is how we do it. So the moment you double click now, this one can easily go up to the other bottom last date because there is a reference it is looking at for the date. So I can change this to accounting by clicking on the comma such that there is a comma. Now you can go ahead and also remove the formula by doing what? Select one, Control Shift up to the bottom, copy. When you copy, don't paste click anywhere, just come here and paste values. Right? You'll have removed the formula. Is it okay? While I'm removing the formula, I don't want these dates to keep changing as I'm working on them this side. Now, here we go on using the text function. Now here I want only a date with two numbers. If it is 19, I want a 19 here. What should I do? Unmute and tell me we are using the text function.
Text.
Equals to?
Text. Open bracket. Then you put DD.
A2,
A2.
comma.
Open double quotes. DD.
So open double quotes, I put two DDs.
Yes.
You're right. So we get 19. So when I double click this up to the bottom, we click the number up to the bottom, right? Okay. The day is done. Someone to give me the day of the week. Someone give me the day of the week. Day of the week. We are using the text function.
Let us use equals text. Then we open the brackets. Then we come to A2. Then comma.
Equals.
Then we open the. Then after we do. Is it? Put this. Then we open the quotes.
No, since we need the day of the week, we are going to put 4 Ds, then close the quotes.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Then we close the bracket. You enter, you get the Saturday. Is it okay?
Yes.
So if you need just a day like Sat to represent Saturday, you leave 3. So you see that when you leave 3, it will give you Sat, Thursday, Tuesday, like that. But if you put the 4th here and enter, it will give you the full name like that. Someone give me the month number using the text.
Equals text.
Mm-hmm.
Then we open the brackets.
Mm-hmm.
Then we click at A2.
Mm-hmm.
Then we close we put a comma.
Mm.
Then we put 4 M's.
4 M's.
After opening the quotes.
Okay. But remember, we need a month number, not a name.
The month number.
Put 2 M's.
We put 2 M's. Then we close. Then here you get the month number, right? So the month number also always, you can even have 1 M, but 2 M's is always good because you differentiate between a 1 and a 10 when you're sorting. I will show you as we go ahead with that. So that is the month number. When they talk about month number, that's what they want. Then I need the month name.
Equals text.
Mhm.
Open brackets.
Mhm.
A2.
A2.
Open double quotes. Comma, open double quotes. 4 M's.
And enter. That's February, right? Kawa. Now we're on here. Still we are using a text function.
Equals text.
Mm.
Open brackets. A2. Comma, open double quotes. 3 Y's.
Yes, 3 Ys I said they will give you the year, but always keep it format to the 4 Ys. You get, yes. So when we drag down, we shall get the different years, 2022, 2023, like that, up to the bottom. So I think, do we have any challenge now with the text function? So, someone tell me how I can freeze my top row, my header.
Select cell B2. Okay. To freeze, then select cell G2.
G2.
H2. H2.
Mm.
Then we freeze.
No, when I want to only freeze the top row, you don't need to define. You can click anywhere in your data. Now, when you tell me to freeze H2, H2 is outside our data. So you have to click anywhere in your data. Then you go to view, right? Then you look for
freeze
pens. It's here. Then you freeze top row like that, and there you'll be good to go. I think that's fine.